Jazz. Is everything okay?
Oh, yes, the usual. Just trying to run my business, get my ex-husband to stay out of my life. Why do you ask?
Well, we wanted to talk to you about your products.
Oh, Irene, I told you it would not interfere with my work, and it hasn't.
Oh, no, love. We wanted to know more about them.
Really?
Yeah, no, we've been checking out your socials and, I don't know, it just really grabbed our attention. Maybe you could recommend something? Not too pricey, mind. Yeah, but if you're too busy, then...
No, I'm never too busy for my friends. I'm assuming you know the 7 steps to beauty. That's okay, I'll teach you. Sit down with Rue, and I'm just going to walk you through the whole range, okay?
The whole range. Great.
We are Si and Sophie. This is Coastal News, a home and away podcast, your weekly episode companion podcast for your favourite Aussie soap.
Don't know if you've heard, Soph, but if you buy 2, you get a free wax.
Free wax? Like leg wax?
No, did you miss that line? That's not worked. That's that. We've just Titanic to that joke. Fantastic.
I thought this was a Marilyn thing.
it's Manta Ray Board's new deal. Buy 2, get a free wax.
I must have missed that. I was
Can
thinking
we start
it was...
again? I'll have to think of something else.
I think that was funny. Leave it in. It's fine.
Oh dear. How are you?
I'm good. I'm really good.
Other than
how are
killing
you?
me, Joe. I'm fine, thank you.
Sorry, should have warned me. Apologies, listeners. Oh, dear.
Well, welcome back. Missed you.
I know.
I mean,
missed you
through
too.
Through the magic of podcasts. I mean, our listeners don't know you've been anywhere. You know, you were here all along. But you've been out living life, having fun. Have you the same pet?
I have. I've been to Germany and I've rocked my face off at Rockin' Park Festival, and it was so good. But I'm so broken because the reason I went is because I'm turning a significant number of age this year, next month, and I thought, well, this is on my bucket list, and one day I'm going to be too old to actually go, so I'm just going to do it this year. And my favourite band in the world played, so I thought, why not? Let's just go and have some fun. So it was brilliant, but I am, oh my God, everything hurts. My knees hurt, my ankles hurt. I can't put my arms up over my head. I'm broken. So it's quite nice to be sat down with a glass of wine, talk about Homers for a change.
Fabulous. Yeah, for a change.
It's nice. It's nice to be back. I missed you.
Welcome back. We missed you too.
Thank you.
And I'm glad you had a fab time. It looked great on the old Instagram.
Yeah, it was good. It was good fun. Good laugh.
Yes. And you had the weather for it. I mean,
we did. It was scorchio.
Yeah.
Scorchio. I even got the legs out at one point. I never get my legs out ever.
Mm-hmm.
But the legs made the milk bottle legs that everyone had to put sunglasses on just to look at. But they did come out for a day.
Mm-hmm.
It was that hot.
I'm glad you had a fab time, and you've managed to squeeze in. You've got back.
Yes.
You're a broken person, but you've managed to squeeze in some Homers for us.
I have.
So
That's all I've been able to do. I literally just crawled to the sofa and was like, right, Homers, that's all I can do for next week. So I'm up to date.
My 5 it.
Yeah.
On
absolutely.
the sofa. Sponsored by Simba Mattress. Again and again. Right then, do you want your headlines? Because we've got some things to get on with this week.
Yeah, there's quite a lot happening. Yeah. Even though there's not there's not mega drama, but I had to look down my list and I thought there's at least 6 storylines that happened this week, I think.
Yeah, there's some things going on, isn't there? And like you say, they're just sort of slowly bubbling on. So nothing too high dramas, but yeah, there's a lot of sort of complex stuff going on. And if you'll cast your mind back to our last recording, if you can, get in the back of there somewhere. You know, we've been getting a bit opinionated of late, haven't we? I was listening back to a couple of things that we'd recorded, and not in a bad, negative sort of way, but definitely sort of getting a bit frustrated with a few things. So I'm intrigued to see after this week whether those frustrations are still with you. So,
okay.
Do you want your headlines?
I do.
Kahoo wrangles a job at the gym. Eden is reluctant to let Lyric perform her song for cash.
Mhm.
Marilyn's business leaves Rue with more than just a minor tingle. Justin starts his court-enforced anger management therapy. And Xander makes a huge career decision.
Please take the time to like, subscribe, and review Coastal News wherever you source your podcasts and ensure you never miss an episode.
So we rejoined the Bay this week, and Kahu is trying to get a job. He's a bit of a Jack the Lad, this one, isn't he? We agreed to keep an eye on him, didn't we? Just arrived, hadn't he? There's a bit of a thing going on, and we were surmising and guessing as to what was going on with Flick and not wanting him around. Tane's cottoned onto it pretty early doors, hasn't he? He knows something's up with, and I'd be surprised if he can't tell when something's wrong with Flick now. It happens that often. Yeah, he's sort of muscled his way into the gym. He's found out Tane runs the gym, and Tane's a staff member down, and he's got loads on. He's like, I'll help you. Doesn't have any papers, mind, and Alf's after him. Alf needs papers again.
I know. He's a stickler, isn't he?
And he's not qualified, we quickly learn, to be a PT or anything sort of muscular, despite his appearance. So he ends up with an admin, answering the phone, doing the laundry, that folding towels, that kind of thing. Look, take what you can get. You've just arrived in town with no job, nowhere to stay, is my guess. Flicks, she's not happy. She's furiously dusting and cleaning. We've never seen her pick up the Hoover ever, but it does give her a sort of moment to sort of vent and sort of use Cash as a sounding board, really. And she's sort of talks it out to herself, doesn't she? But Cash is the vehicle, and she sort of talks herself off this sort of wedge. Am I blowing it all out of proportion? And Cash is like, yeah. What are you thinking, Sophie, about her reaction to him not wanting him around? That sort of bubbles on for the first part of this week, really. Are we still thinking what we were thinking before, that, there's something else going on here? Why doesn't she want him? Or do you think it's just clear she just wants the honeymoon period still?
I don't really understand Flick generally at the moment, because she's going between ideas and stuff. So, when she's having that conversation with Cash, and Cash says something like, you married a guy who's all about family and he lets me live here, remember? And I kind of like that, because I was sitting there thinking it myself, and I was like, I'm glad he's reminded us that they haven't forgotten stuff. Because, sometimes on Home and Away, something happens and the characters seem to have amnesia about it. We're at home going, yeah, but this, why don't you remember that happened 2 weeks ago? So I quite like the fact that he reminded us that they do realise that, Tane is all about family. Cash gets to live there and nobody has any problems with it. Nico was there before. Nobody had any problem with Nico being there. The thing that I'm finding difficult is eventually when she starts to open up about why she doesn't want Kahu staying there, she says something that I don't understand. And she said something like, it was perfect. We'd just come back from our honeymoon. Everything was perfect. It was really going well. I didn't want to share Tane with someone else. Maybe I'm being a bit selfish. And I'm like, okay, that's not true. 2 weeks ago, we got back from honeymoon and you weren't happy. And he actually asked you outright. Tane said, why aren't you happy? What would make you happy? Do you remember?
Yeah.
I'm not making it up, am I? We did have that conversation.
Yeah, she was in the right mood, and he had to do her whole, he did her afternoon tea by the pool, and it's like, why are you not happy? And
she was like, oh, it doesn't feel different. And then she was like, oh, let's go to a cocktail bar in Yabby Creek. Let's go to Salt and hang out with people. He wanted to stay in bed, didn't he? Do you remember? And she was like, oh, let's get dressed and go to Salt and hang out with people. So at that point, she wasn't happy. Things weren't perfect. She wanted to hang out with other people. She didn't want to, now she's saying she wants to share, not share Tane with Kahu and keep that little bubble going and everything's perfect. I know she snapped out of it, but I'm like, I don't know. She just seems to change her mind every 5 minutes, and I can't keep up anymore.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm losing it.
Yeah, I agree. I don't understand her either, because she juxtaposes herself exactly what you've just described. She'll say one thing and then the next day she'll say the other, and she'll mean something else. She'll mean a third thing, and it's hard to sort of buy into her and defend her and back her when she's
Mm.
so flaky in that way.
Yeah.
You know, to me, this guy, I was saying to you, wasn't I, last week's episode, I think something potentially has gone on in New Zealand. It's a bit weird that she wants him about. The more I've watched this week, I've put that theory to bed because I'm now reading between the lines and joining some of the dots and sort of, adding two and two myself and trying to get something remotely correct.
Yeah.
I'm thinking this honeymoon was a big tour of New Zealand with all his family. It is the fact that the honeymoon was so communal and so sharing. Does that mean she feels a little bit sort of cheated out of a honeymoon? Do you know what I mean? And do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then, like we're saying, she then juxtaposes herself by saying, "Let's go out." Like rather than sort of staying in a romantic cocoon in bed. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it frustrates me. But I'm thinking
frustrates me too. Yeah, maybe we're reading too much into it. The only thing I can think of is that she's being a bit of a control freak. So, she's moved Cash in. She moved the whole of Lyric in at one point, and they don't have bedrooms, and they were living on the floor and the sofa and stuff. That was fine with her. She didn't have a problem with them moving in with her. I think she's got a problem when it's not someone that she's invited, not someone that she's in control of.
I can't get on board with that.
I know.
I just can't.
I just find it really selfish. It's like she didn't decide Kahu could move in. Kahu kind of decided it himself by turning up, didn't he, really? So she didn't get a say in it. But Lyric did the same. Lyric turned up out of nowhere and she was like, "Oh, come and stay with us. We've got floor, we've got sofa." When it's her decision, it's okay. But when it's out of her control, she doesn't like it. And I think that's the problem. I think she is a control freak and a bit selfish.
Yeah, I was about to say it always comes back to that word selfish with her, doesn't it? It does.
It does. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was utterly bored with it, to be honest.
Yeah. I kind of wish that your theory about it being deeper than that had come to fruition, because at least that would have been something. Whereas Flick just being selfish again, it's like, oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. This old merry-go-round.
Yeah. I feel like we've been here before.
And that whole martyr, here's the key. I'm gonna make an effort, but she's doing it for Tane, and Tane is giving her the old, "Oh, thank you." And I'm thinking, she literally said herself, "Family's family," the day before, when she was, trying to paint on her face and pretend she was all right with it. So make your mind up: is it or is it not?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? However, I do think Kahu as a character, I think he's a right freeloader. And I wouldn't want him around either. So do you know what I mean? Like he's taught himself into a job that Tane couldn't really say no to. He even gets Cash to buy him a coffee. Like
he does, yeah.
Cash has to pay for that. He's got free board. Like,
and I do I agree with Flick on one point, because Flick, when she's talking to Tane, she says, you could have hired someone who's more qualified, then you wouldn't have to do so much work, then we could spend more time together. But because you've hired someone who's not qualified, you're having to basically babysit them and tell them how to do everything. But what they're doing isn't that helpful. It's not, taking classes. It's not being able to you can't have a day off because you're the only one that trains. So with the stuff that Kahu's doing is paperwork and towels and that kind of thing. That's not what you needed. You needed someone to cover the actual personal training, workshops or whatever they call them. So I kind of get her point on that, is that he's hired someone who's not appropriate, who's not going to give him back any time, and then unfortunately Flick needs all the attention, doesn't she? And she's not going to get it. And Kahu's going to get more attention from Tane than she gets, and that's going to make her jealous. Essentially, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah,
we're in for way more melodrama about the whole thing.
Yeah.
And it's all going to be, you're spending time with him and not me.
And it's all your fault because you hired the wrong person and you didn't listen to me, blah 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 blah. And we saw a bit of that this week already, didn't we? Because she said he said, "I've got to go back to work," and she said something like, "Yeah, well, if you'd hired the right person, we'd be in bed and you wouldn't be off to work." So,
oh God, just throw it in his face all the time. I tell you, I don't know how he copes. I really don't.
I don't.
Oh dear.
I think he just blocks it out. I don't think he's even listening.
Yeah, I tell you what, many wouldn't be able to, though. Do you know what I mean? Takes someone, doesn't it? Blimey.
Yeah.
Right, Brie and Remy, they're back on. You
Mm.
know, and Eden soon sussed it out, didn't she? It didn't take long.
Mm.
And he's declaring the start of a new chapter, you know, out loud, so we know it's going to happen. You know?
Yes.
Audience, listen. This is the beginning of happiness.
New era has occurred. Yes.
Yay. Happy. So then he calls another bloody band meeting. There were some comments. I don't know if you saw them.
Oh,
There was some comments online this week about how many band meetings.
they do have a lot of meetings, and not very many gigs. They seem to have more meetings than gigs, like meetings
I
about
know.
gigs. You know when you have a meeting about a meeting, they have a meeting about a gig, don't they? It hasn't even occurred.
Yeah. Now I had the show during this meeting going out. I had the show on in the family home.
Oh, did you?
You know, so others were
in
present.
attendance.
And the comment, the comments. You always get comments.
Mhm.
And
I know.
it's presented with a. This is unrelatable to literally most of the population because most people aren't in a band having meetings about gigs and things like. And I do get, we see way too much of this stuff, behind the scenes stuff. I think on a soap opera, let's just indulge it a bit if we're going to have this band. And, it's been debated at length, both on this podcast and off it, about whether we should have the band and lyric and whether it's a good thing and all the rest of it. But let's just indulge in the glamour of being in a band. If it's going to be on a glossy soap opera, let's not sit and discuss what gigs we're rebooking. Do you know what I mean?
We're talking
Even
about
though
unrelatable, can we just say I live in the middle of England. I live the furthest away from the seaside as you can possibly get in England, and I've never held a surfboard, but I still love watching.
Okay, yeah,
away.
take your point.
It is unrelatable, and that's why I like the show, because it's not my life and it's aspirational. So,
it is. But I do agree. I want to see. I don't want to see meeting after meeting after meeting.
Yeah.
Just someone needs to say, we've rebooked the gigs. Let's got a gig on Friday. I'll be happy with that.
Yeah.
And I suppose what we were supposed to be witnessing is the renaissance of lyric, weren't we? Because it had all gone to shite, Handgate and Kirby blooming having to take a waitressing job, and two of them were doing the gigs, and then there was a whole jealousy thing, and then the book of songs got torn up by a mad woman, and then so and all the gigs got cancelled, and the band was on hold, wasn't it? Really?
Yeah.
Unspecified hiatus. So this was them, right? Remy's back now. His hand's in good nick. His relationship and his life's in better nick. He's ready for the band to perform as a band again. So I got why we needed to see it. What about some other ideas though? So we've got the gigs coming back on, new songs.
Yeah, not groundbreaking really. A band needs new songs, new material, new covers, a new set list, and some gigs. I don't think there was anything groundbreaking in the plan, was there? But the Eden song plan obviously shook people, didn't it? Shooketh.
Well, the best song, we've said it before, like
best song, best voice. Why the hell did we go through all that rigmarole with that audition stuff with the guy and everybody else? Why?
I know, when Eden was sitting there with that voice.
Oh my god, the best voice I've heard in a long time. So yeah,
Spice Girls went on as a 4.
They did. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Didn't need someone. So and more dosh between 4. Well, what little dosh there is in this case. So the Eden didn't like the idea of using her songs though. Now this as a non-musician, talk about unrelatable. This I didn't get this. Eden was like, I can't. It's my personal song. You know, I can't perform it. You already have, love, to a room full of people. Even though she was right. She was just singing it to one person. However, I'm sitting there watching this thinking, all the great songs are really personal ones. All the great say it's a cathartic personal experience, and don't all the singer-songwriters and bands and great artists all say, oh, this is my most personal album, I'm most proud of it. But and all those cliche phrases that artists come out with, I'm thinking, come on, at some point she's going to realise that this song will now take on a new meaning and all that crap that bands come out with. I'm thinking, what's the deal here?
Yeah, I think I'm the same as you, really. Maybe she's not, because she's not. I guess what I kind of took it from this was because she's not the songwriter from Lyric. You know, Kirby's the. We keep being told she's the songwriter, isn't she?
Yeah.
And to a point, Theo as well, because they've been co-writing songs, haven't they, together? So I don't think when Eden wrote this song, I don't think she ever planned for it to be part of the set list, to be, you know, something they would gig with. So I can see it from that point of view, that she didn't write it to think, oh, this will be a great song for the band. She wrote it as a way of getting out her feelings on paper, and you know, dealing with that car crash and being in a coma and then waking up and forgetting Cash and all that sort of stuff that we know about. That's how she's managed to unjumble all of that stuff in her head, get it on paper, and work out how she feels about him. So I kind of get that. But it wasn't ever planned to be on the set list. But now she has performed it, and the reaction to it has been so good. I mean, everyone's saying it's brilliant and your voice is great and it's the, you know, best song, blah blah blah. You know, it's not just us saying that. Lyric is saying that as well. Cash was saying how great the song was.
Yeah.
So she's had really good feedback on it. So I don't really get why she's so anti. Playing it now. I don't know. But then again, like you say, I'm not a singer-songwriter, so I don't know.
Yeah, just did not get it. Not get it at all. And I just think I've spent my whole life listening to all sorts of musicians say how personal their music is, and
it is, and that's the best music. The stuff that's the best songs come from painful experiences. The best songs aren't happy songs.
100%, exactly what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
it was just a bit, you know, just you're watching it thinking, oh bloody hell, you're going to end up singing the song. Crack on with it. You know, I am a bit worried about what they're going to. God, I'm on one. I am a bit worried about what they're going to do with, you know, when they said, "Oh, we're going to put some production on it," and I was like, "Oh, Jesus!"
Oh, make it rocky. It was a bit maybe go. Oh, I don't think it needs to be rocky. I think it's a good ballad.
Yeah. Acoustic. Yeah. Break the album up a bit. Track 5.
Yeah, you don't need the whole thing to be, you know, you know what I mean? It needs to have some.
You bigger it.
Yeah, that one needs to go in the bin. I just that one's awful. Sorry, I really don't like that song. It gets in my head.
Yeah, but you know what? We know him though. Isn't it funny? You know, we say all this, it's not our thing, blah blah blah. But we know him.
Like you. You make me fall apart. Oh my God.
We know them all though, don't we? Funny times.
Yeah. Well, I told you I'm buying you the LP for Christmas, so they better get in the studio. TikTok ready.
They need to get a move on, don't they? Yeah. They need to get a move on. And you called it Lyric for Eurovision next year with Someone Like You. That how someone hasn't done that and thought of that, I don't know. Right, I'm going to try and cover this. You might have to take the lead on this one. Right.
Oh, what is it?
Manta Ray Board is up and running, and I bloody hate it. Oh God, I hate it.
Is it the name? You still hate the name?
I can't see past it. It's got merch already. God,
he has. I nearly texted you that because I wasn't sure whether I was behind you, but I nearly texted you. Marley got merch? ?
Marley got merch. A lot of merch.
He's got almost as much merch as we have for the pod.
It's not Marley and me, Marley and merch.
Marley and merch.
It's almost got as much merch as us.
Yeah, we've got t-shirts and mugs, and he's got a hoodie.
Sleeveless.
Sleeveless.
Sort of cut off. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, he's done all this before committee approval.
Mm-hmm.
So there was some eyebrows were raised, weren't they? You've jumping the gun a bit here, Marley lad. The committee's not signed off on your plan yet. Soon comes though, so everything's fine. And
Gerald.
He signed it off as old Gerald, and I'm sure, I'm no doubt by a little sort of nudge, wink, wink from old Mr. Stewart there at the meeting. Now he receives then this box of his belongings, and this puzzled me.
Mm-hmm.
The sisters sent down a load of stuff, and I was a bit like, is that stay there then, like huff? Or I just felt
is that
really
to
puzzled
tell
by
us?
this.
Is that a vehicle, as they say, to tell us that Marley is sticking around? So Manta Ray Boards is launched. Marley's box of crap has turned up. Is that it?
Yeah, or is it literally? And then and then Max there going, "Oh, do you want to put that in my house?"
Yeah.
Type
now
thing.
He's got an abode. He's got a roof over his head. I think it's probably to tell us that he's permanent, even though we're not that, stupid who worked it out. But you know what I mean?
Yeah, you're probably right. I was a bit like, we're not going to have sister drama, are we? Who does that? Who just says, here's a load of stuff?
I don't know.
Unless you're ending on bad terms.
Yeah, I don't know. It depends what's in the box, doesn't it? If it's just a load of crap you'll never need, then it's probably petty. Like, get this stuff out of my house because you're never coming back, are you? If it's stuff that he would actually need now that he's going to be permanently in Summer Bay, then actually it's quite kind. I don't know. Don't know. I want to know. I do want to know something. What is going to be the salt merch? Because when Mac was checking out the hoodie, and she said, "Oh," and I think Marley said something like, "People love free stuff," and she's like, "Oh, maybe I should do some merch for salt." I was thinking, like what?
Now that is merch I can get on board with.
What, like a little pot of organophosphate for knock yourself out of it?
Drop parmesan with it. No, it'll be teas and things, won't it? I mean, is the Rowdy uniform? Oh no, it's that sort of black and white stripe, isn't it? The rubber,
like a shirt thing, don't they? Yeah, like a Newcastle United shirt.
Yeah, it was probably a flippant comment, but Home and Away have done merch before. They should do merch like that. Salt's like the best.
They do merch, but
ever.
You can't order it from the UK because there is a merch shop, isn't there? But I don't think you can order it from here, or if you can, it's like crazy shipping.
Probably, yeah. I'm sure it has come and gone here, though. I'm sure Channel 5 did arrange ones, like beach towel or something.
Yeah, they do like tote bags and stuff, but they're from the Oz shop, so I've never.
We're gonna have to get yourself there.
Yeah.
Get on the tour, aren't you?
Yes, that's on the list. It's on the bucket list. Want me tote bag? Come on.
It's a long way to go. I'll get you one. We know a lady.
Yes, true.
Yeah, so what do you think about him moving into the farmhouse with Mac then? I thought this has got the makings of a fabulous friendship. I quite like these together. I quite like the chemistry. Good. Yeah. So, that conversation they have where he brings his stuff over to the farm and he's like, "Oh, I like to wash the pots." And she's like, "Great." And they're talking about the music, a bit cringe, talk about what music they like. And I just thought these have got the makings of a really good friendship, and friendships is something I think the show is really strong at right now. There's a couple of sort of friendship couples. We've got Rose and Brie have a really good rat-a-tat, don't they? We've got John and Marley. That's sort of in the making as well. Marley and Mac, I think, could be a really good friendship.
Yeah.
The Flick's in one as well. Flick and Mac. Flick and Mac. I quite like the friendships we have on the show right now. I think they're really good.
And Remy, haven't we?
Eden and Remy, yes, sorry. Yep. Eden and Remy.
Xander and Marley, actually, as well.
Yeah, I think they're really writing really strong for friends right now. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. I am on board with the Marley Mac thing. It's been really nice this week to see. Obviously, Mac's not fully herself. No matter what she's saying to people, she isn't over Gabe yet. We keep seeing little hints that she's not quite back to normal, which is fair enough. But when she's been with Marley, she's been smiling, she's been carefree, she's been dancing in the kitchen. You know, it's nice to see Mac looking like she's enjoying herself again. And I think if he brings out that side to her, then I'm up for it.
Yeah, no,
So
100%. And I
yeah,
think he's going to be the catalyst to do that for her. And
yeah,
with him being in the house now, I quite like as well that he did sort of promise Dean as he was driving out of town that he would look out for her. And
yeah.
now
He's
actually
actually
it's not,
doing it.
he's
Yeah,
actually doing it, but because he wants to, because they're friends, not because
yeah,
he's been sort of asked to. Do you know what I mean?
yes,
He's not.
yeah.
It's not going to feel like a sense of duty. He's genuinely going to want to care, which I quite
Mm,
like is how they've ended up. But I feel like when the inevitable comes about Gabe, I
mm.
feel like him being around is going to be really good for her. And in terms of avoiding her going back down that whole place she's been in the past,
Yes, yeah.
and I think, and in turn, that will be fabulous for us watching.
What do you
So
think about the fact that he's no longer with Rose though, and he's now a single man and she's a single lady?
honestly, I don't feel anything about it.
No.
When we were talking last time and we were saying, it was over before it began.
Mm.
Um, like I really, I don't miss them at all. I think they were
No,
a
I don't.
nonsense.
Sorry, I
I know,
don't
I
mean
know.
that. I mean the fact that he's single and Mac's single.
Yeah, So as long as it stays, I quite like them as friends,
Yeah.
and the show, like I say, the show's writing good as friends. So I don't mind that he and Rose aren't dating as long
Mm.
as it stays platonic
Mm.
with Mac, because I don't know, I feel like that would ruin. They've got good
Mm.
chemistry, and I feel like it would ruin it. What about you?
Yeah, I'm not feeling it either. I mean, we'll talk about Your Say on the Bay because people have got opinions on this
Right.
this relationship, this friendship at the moment. But I'm the same as you. I quite like the idea of them being friends and her having not a Dean replacement, but someone who's more like a brother that's looking out for her.
Yeah. Yeah.
Got her back when she needs it. She just needs somebody on her side because I feel like
It does.
Mac is
Yeah.
without her family. She's such an outlier now in the show because she's Salt and she's on her own and she's got no family. She needs more of a support net. I know she's got Flick, but Flick's flaky. Flick's got
Mm.
Tane. She can't be there for Mac all the time, and she's proven that she can't be, like, literally.
Yeah.
So Mac needs a rock, doesn't she? She needs a friendship rock, and I think they
Yeah.
could make that Marley. And I think it would, like you say, if they made them hook up, potentially that could ruin that.
I think that's the last thing she needs. You're
Yeah.
right. She needs that support. She needs that friend, that shoulder to lean on. She does not need another
Mm.
man messing with
Mm.
her. Blimey, she goes from one to another, and it's a disaster every time. Like, it's the
Mm.
last thing she needs. And early signs are that Marley's a nice lad, and he probably recognizes she'll be going through stuff.
Yeah.
So you never know. I'm quite glad he's single though, because it
Mm.
means that he will have the time and dedication to
Yeah,
what
true.
he'll put the hours into their friendship.
Yeah.
I'm just worried, that the temptation to write something in, and something happening that could rock the boat a bit. I'm worried. It's going to be easily done, isn't it? Well, Kirby gets called for a business meet at the diner by
Oh
Marilyn.
yeah. It's been making me laugh,
Mm.
actually. Marilyn's got really bossy, hasn't she?
Do you know what I like about Marilyn is she will stick up for herself.
Yes.
I think everyone's got this this opinion of her, this judgment, if you like,
Mm.
and sort of handle her in quite a. I feel like they look down on her a bit,
Yes. Yeah.
But I love it when she stands up for herself.
Yes. Yeah.
She put me called rude privileged. Now I'm gonna have to watch that back.
I know. I clapped. I was like,
Honestly, that needs to be like framed somewhere.
can we
And
get an
like,
audio clip of that, please? And I can just play
yeah.
it. Yeah.
So we need
Okay.
to sort out a new ringtone of
Yeah.
Marilyn calling rude privileged. Absolutely.
About
When,
time.
honest to God, leaped in the air, I did. So business meeting's being called. If you remember, she's fulfilling these blowing orders for Sterling Organics out of the diner. of all places, because she can't be in two at once. And she's trying to enroll Kirby as a brand ambassador so she gets more commission. She's trying to enroll everybody by the end of the week as a brand ambassador.
I didn't get this at all. Right. So if Marilyn's struggling to sell stuff, then having a second person with the same pool of customers, how is that going to help? Because who's Kirby going to sell to that Marilyn isn't going to sell to? You know, just people in the diner and the neighbours. I just don't get this at all.
No, it's just the whole pyramid scheme. Who cares once Marilyn's got the money off her type thing for an order. I think she'd been a little tunnel visioned, is Maz here. You know, she's got her eyes on the prize and she's not really, I don't think she's quite aware of what she's behaving like. I think it'd be a fair assessment. And this whole giving away free coffee thing soon reared its head, didn't it? When someone's asking Irene for a free coffee and she gets a right rollicking.
Yeah.
I loved that Irene gave her what for. I really do. This ticking off. And she's very
hilarious.
It was
hilarious because she was just like, "Can I give you a free sample, Irene?" And Irene's like, "No, you could do your bloody job."
What if you free coffee? It's only a couple. What if you sold hundreds?
Oh, I'd love that. I'd love that.
Put the diner out of business.
Oh, so funny.
Speaking of the diner in business, I do not think the locations of the coffee cart lately have been far away enough from the diner. They're literally outside the diner. So, you know, like you can go into the diner for a takeaway coffee.
Yes.
And take one away, or you can go to the coffee cart right outside the diner.
Yeah, it is just for lazy people that can't bother to walk the extra 10 meters, I think, isn't it? Really?
Like, move the coffee cart somewhere else. People are already at the diner getting a coffee. They don't need a coffee cart there.
It needs to be at the caravan park. There's nothing at the caravan park as far as we know. There's no beverages or refreshments
just a captive audience of tourists coming and going. One thinking, "Oh, smell that coffee, I'll have a flat white."
Yeah, calling out the caravan the morning after and, you know, being, "Oh, there's a coffee here, brilliant."
Go and get me a cup of Di Lorenzo. Did spy, though, in the background, the old demolished pier. I think I messaged you. I spy some stumps there where the pier used to be.
Oh, it's too sad.
Wonder when we'll have that rebuilt and what that will mean for us, you know, in terms
will
of
we know?
Will
it be part of the show, or will it just seamlessly, you know, meld into the background? I don't know.
We'll just go there for an argument all of a sudden.
Yeah.
So she's very apologetic after this telling off from Irene, and John there getting his free coffees, another free coffee, overhears this conversation and then seemingly later puts a big order in. Now we know John has been saying he'll pay for the wedding, and she's been a bit stubborn, and that's why she's selling all this, you know, she's pushing all this dodgy gear because she wants money to pay for Jet's wedding. Well, she's not happy, is she? She feels like John's sort of backdoor buying the wedding, isn't, you know, and not that I think that would really matter, you know. You know, when you're just thinking, just let him pay for it. And even if you pay John back $1 a week, you know, like just agree to pay John back. It doesn't have to be so fast.
It doesn't. This is all about pride. You know, she keeps saying, "Oh, I'm raising money for Jet's wedding." No, she's not. She's raising money because she wants to compete with John, and it's a pride thing.
Yeah. And I feel like she's losing the message a bit. She's losing the meaning of it all. Go and visit Jet. Actually, you know, like you were talking last week about a couple of weeks back. Still not met her. How about you get on the bus or whatever you need to do? Go to the city and meet them and ask them what they want. Do you know, like I feel like she's just a bit, like I say, blinkers on. You know, she's not really thinking of the bigger picture. No. Turns out, after arguing with John and throwing boxes at him and accusing him of all sorts and him being like, what the hell's going on? Turns out it wasn't him after all. Mr. Stewart bought them and he was going to give them away for free samples at the Surf Club. Sunscreen, you know, Surf Club, positive message, wear sunscreen, obviously it makes sense. Now, what bugged me a bit was she was happy for Mr. Stewart to buy it all.
Mm.
You know, thank you, Mr. Stewart. That's really kind of you. Well, it would have been kind if it was John as well.
Yes.
You know, what's the difference?
Yeah, I guess the only thing I can think of is obviously the history, because you know the ex-husband and all that sort of. Because there was a line this week about my ex-husband controlling my life again or something, you know.
Yeah,
So
get it out of my life. Yeah,
she is feeling that as well. But I think it would have been a bit ludicrous for John to buy it, because the money is going towards the wedding and he is paying for the wedding, so it is coming from the same pot of money essentially.
Yeah,
that is a bit daft. But she didn't have to be so rude to John.
No, I think she was unfair, really. And as you know,
Yeah.
we get a bit defensive of John these days, don't we? And we do of Marilyn, but I think she's not. She needs to catch her behaviour. I'm surprised no one's tried to ask if she's on her meds. Honestly, the way that was treated last time.
Did you notice the line that John actually said to her? And I cringed a bit. I was like, oh. You know, when she went and accused him, and she said, "Oh, John, here's your box of sunscreen. You're so transparent, blah blah."
Yeah.
And he said, "Oh, what have you had for breakfast? It's too early in the morning for all this crazy." And I thought, she's had mental health episodes. I don't think I don't think that's the right choice of words. But
I did, yeah.
I turned inside out for a second. I was like, oh, that was a bit cringe.
Really insensitive line.
So in a way, he did sort of ask her if she's gone off a rocker, but not in a good way.
And I don't like the way Rue's been with her either.
I hate Rue this week. I'm sorry, hate her.
She's absolutely disgusting. You know, she's almost thought, the way. I mean, up to where you know we're talking about it at the moment in the timeline. She's talking about her like that's beneath her. You know, like a bit high and mighty type tone to everything about this whole plan.
There was her and Irene having a conversation. Did you hear that bit where she was like, she's in over her head and then Rue said something like, "Oh, will you try living with her?" And it wasn't until Mr. Stewart stepped in and said, "Oi, give her a break. You know, why don't you try supporting her and think about how you can help her rather than just basically slagging her off behind her back."
Absolutely. I was really picked off.
Girls. Yeah.
Really picked off. I thought, actually, she's used some initiative. She's got no money and she's done something about it. And it's all for her.
I don't agree with what she's done, but you're her mates, you know, and you're standing there slagging her off behind her back. And I think it was Rue that said to Marilyn, you know, Jet didn't even ask for the money. Jet didn't even want the money. And it's like, no, but maybe Marilyn wants to feel like she's got, you know, some, not control, that's not the right word, but some kind of, she's made a contribution to her son's biggest day of his life.
Yeah, and you can absolutely appreciate that's what that feeling that, you know, because anybody would.
Well, Rue can't, you know. And Rue's not mum of the year, is she? Let's face it. But there we go.
Well, pot kettle, absolutely. Honestly, it's whelming. And then her and Irene have sort of ganged up and thought, right, let's roll eyes. Let's get on board. Let's try it out. Let's show us your products. And then when she says, "Oh, I'll walk you through the range," I did like though that she had a bit. You girls don't know the 7 steps to beauty. I'll
talk you through it. Don't worry.
Sly dig. I thought, good on her. I thought, get them in, girl, because I thought they're being awful to you. You know, who needs enemies when you've got friends like these? I tell you. And then, obviously, face mask incident. You know, she's put the face mask on her, and of course, of all people, Rue has a reaction. She's got a bright pink face. Improvement. No, I'm kidding. You know, but you're just thinking, you know, about everybody in the land, Judgy Ruru is going to happen to her, innit?
That's sticking, isn't it? Judgy Ruru, Kings of Leon. Her face is on fire. Yeah, dear. I'll be honest. This is really mean. I didn't feel for Rue at all. I didn't care.
No.
I actually laughed. I actually lolled out loud.
Sophie, it happens. It's part of life. It's cosmetics.
I've got very sensitive skin, and some moisturizers and some particularly toners, things that have got, you know, harsh substances in. It makes my face go red, and I know not to use them now. I know that I can't use that brand. Yeah. I'd never march down to Boots and say they need to close their business because my face has gone red. Do you know what I mean?
A complete overreaction, isn't it?
It is. If
on
it
an
happened to everybody, if everybody was going back to the diner and and going, oh, that thing that you bought me made my face turn green, or like my skin's peeled off, or you know what I mean? If everybody was reporting a problem, but so far as we know, Rue's the only one that's had a reaction, and unfortunately, it's the worst person for it to happen to.
I know, and I'm sorry, when you on all the cosmetics and the creams and lotions, it says on it,
Yeah.
how many people out of
Mm.
100 had a reaction, or what it says all that on it. You put it on your face at your own,
Yeah.
it's not the seller, you go to
Yeah.
Stunning Organics themselves and put a complaint in if you're that bothered. And I'm
Yeah.
sorry, you wear a face mask and you end up in bloody hospital. Do me a favour. Oh, but this is like, do me a favour. This is like on an epic scale overreaction. And actually, two antihistamines and a good night's sleep, and she was normal, right as rain the next day.
Yeah, she was.
She looked absolutely fine. And she's telling, like you say, Marilyn she's got to close her business down, telling her that it's dangerous. She's got to put a warning online. I'm sorry. No, you just don't use it again.
No, and then so that annoyed me. But then the fact that she managed to convince Alf and John to also jump on the bandwagon and start putting signs up around the surf club saying don't use this product. That really wound me up.
Yeah. Have you ever seen anything so ludicrous?
No. No, I have not.
In a word. No.
No. It's ridiculous. One person has one reaction. I mean, come on.
And Marilyn was, she was arguing that toss, wasn't she? She's like, I'm sorry, but nobody else has had a problem. Why should I? And I agree with her. And then tonight she's taken that big order right at the end of the episode, and then Judgy Ruru's coming
in the background,
and I can't believe you're taking money still for it. But she's not taking your money.
I'm your friend. Yes, some friend you are, Rue. I'm sorry.
Honest to God.
I'm not being funny, but Marilyn has forgiven Rue for so much worse things than this. Rue was absolutely vile through the whole of Heathergate. Vile.
She was.
I'm still not over that. I'm still not over the fact that she really believed that Marilyn was slashing tires, and I cannot believe that I'm your friend. No, you're not, you cow. Like you're some friend. No, I'm sorry, I'm losing it. I may have to have 5-minute break because I'm so angry. I'm so angry at this fictional character that has nothing to do with my life.
Honestly, yeah. Blood pressure's sky high here.
Oh dear.
Well, you've joined us after a 5-minute break. Just to calm down from Judgy Ruru Gate. Should we talk about Justin?
Oh God. Yeah, go on then.
He started his ComServe. Well, he hasn't actually. We've not seen him do any of his community service. We've seen him go to enforce anger management. Amanda. Not to be confused with anger. But who would do that other than me? This counsellor. Now, speaking of judgment, right? There was a bit of. I'm a bloke and I'm saying it. There was a bit of sexism here. In fact, there was quite a lot. Did you see it?
Was it just me? You're my counsellor? Yeah, to the lady. Yes, you are my counsellor. Yeah. Yes.
I don't think we're a good fit. Excuse me. I'm glad it wasn't, because I thought I was being sensitive.
He was so shocked when she turned up. He was like, "Oh, I'm just waiting for my counsellor," like she was some secretary wandering around.
Yeah. I thought, oh my God, what is this? What year are we in?
Yeah.
I'm glad it's not just me.
No. I didn't know whether I was being a bit sensitive because I wasn't going to bring that up, but since you have.
Sorry. Yeah.
No, I saw it as well, but then I thought, oh, maybe I'm just being a bit, oversensitive. But if you saw it as well, then I'm not.
No,
it's obviously.
I was thinking he just came across as proper like
Neanderthal.
Yeah.
Is that part of the lesson though? Is that part of what's wrong with him? Like showing us that he is a bit of a Neanderthal sometimes. I don't know.
Maybe. Well, look, she gives as good as she gets, though, doesn't she? Really,
Yeah.
she knows that he's not taking it seriously. She has a bit of a go at him and says, "Look, we can go about this one or two ways. Your court order to be here. You can give me lip service, and I won't sign you off, or you can actually get on board." I
Yeah.
thought, absolutely, go, girl.
Yeah.
We like you, Amanda. Now he gets this weird homework assignment. Five most important items you'd save from a fire or something, was it? Or something like that.
Which he
And
spent all night doing, apparently, according to Leah. He was up all night doing his homework. I was like, he's got 2 picture frames down and took his guitar. What took so long?
And his laptop.
Yeah, his laptop that belonged to his mum and dad. I mean, oh my word. All night that took him.
He was mulling it over.
He must have been. God, 2
Mulling
brain
it
cells
over.
rubbing together.
Now, what did actually happen was when he finally opened up about these 2 brain cells. Sorry, what did actually happen when I'm trying to plow on here. What did actually happen when he got these items out and started talking? Everything unraveled, didn't it? And that self-realization that all this anger, all this stuff that because he these things that have happened, and he can be like, he's been here before. We've spoken about this before. This violent side of him all comes from the witness protection backstory. Now, I'm quite happy, actually, that we've revisited this. We talk a lot about, like you say, you mentioned it even in this episode earlier on, about us selective amnesia there, about forgetting things and ploughing on. Yeah, he's absolutely going to be affected for his life by that experience. So it makes sense that this is the root of all evil.
Yeah. I mean, and that's only barely scratching the surface with Justin, isn't it? Justin's past.
Yeah.
I mean, his parents were killed by a drug syndicate. His siblings all went into witness protection. He didn't see his daughter for God knows how long, 8 years, I think he said it was. In that time when he was in witness protection, when he was in the Summer Bay, loads of stuff happened then. Do you remember they got tracked down by the drug syndicate and he got stabbed, I think, at one point. And there was that whole thing going on with Robbo. And then obviously the hospital siege with Mason, and Brody with the drugs issue. And then Justin went through his own drugs, addiction problems. So Justin's had loads of stuff happen to him over the last decade.
Yeah. And then his family all leave him.
Yeah, they've all gone.
On top of it.
Yeah. I mean, he's got 100 reasons to be angry, really.
Yeah, he has. And I think this is the first time he's had to confront it, isn't it? I don't think does he say it himself? He doesn't like talking about the past. He never really calls upon it in his mind's eye. So he's sort of spent his time going forward. Yeah. And that suppression is manifesting itself as these outbursts,
Yeah. It's in there somewhere. It's in his head somewhere, isn't it? So
yeah. Still think he should be doing time though, because
I don't know whether that would make him better though.
No, it wouldn't.
I know what you mean. Like, if I was the guy that got beaten up, I wouldn't be happy with him having 500 hours of community service and some counselling sessions where he sits on the grass playing guitar. I'd be really annoyed, I'll be honest. Because it's not being funny, but that counselling looked really nice. So I thought I could do with some of that myself.
Yeah.
Outside on the grass in the sunshine with my guitar talking about my family. I can do that.
Palm trees,
Look lovely. So if I was the victim in that scenario, yes, I'd be pissed, I think. But sending Justin to prison, would that make him less angry? No. I don't know.
No, it wouldn't. I think he still needs this, doesn't he? He still needs to work out whatever it is. He's not on board though, is he? He's going home and he's like, what's she going to do about it? I've had a shit life and no one can change it. And it looks like in tonight's episode when Leah's like, look, she almost gives him an ultimatum actually, doesn't she? And she says, look, I don't think I can live like this anymore. Tenterhooks all the time when you're going to flip the lid. I mean, we've touched on it before about how Theo isn't triggered by all this, and what he went through with his father and the violence there. I think that's a criminal oversight, if you ask me, in this storyline. Um, but she's right, and I think. Do you think this is the kick up the arse you might need? The thought that Leah's sort of saying, if you don't get on board with this and sort of face this, I'm off. Is basically what she said. Is that the kick
Yeah.
he needs? Do you
Probably,
think?
because what's he doing it for otherwise? He's doing it because he's been told he
Mm,
has to, isn't he? He's not doing this because he actually thinks it's going to work, he needs it, etc. He does realise that somewhere deep down, but he's doing this
yeah,
because he's been told to, isn't he? Really, let's face it.
yeah,
He's not
yeah,
doing.
yeah.
If he hadn't been ordered by the court to do it, would he be doing it? No.
No, he'd be
So
going on as he was, wasn't he?
he would. He'd just be going
Um,
to work. So I think he needs another reason to complete the treatment or whatever they're calling it. And maybe that is, he's already lost so much of his family. Maybe losing Leah as well is the fire that he needs to
mm.
get off his arse and actually do it. I don't know.
Good on her for saying that as well, because that's a
Mm,
brave thing to say,
yeah,
actually. Because it's not something she's going to want,
no.
but she knows she's got to. That's a reality she might have to be prepared to face if it
Mm,
means that it will help him. Do you know what I mean? And I
mm,
thought that was really good of her to do. I think she's been phenomenal through this. I didn't expect her to react the way she has been, as well as she has done throughout this whole thing.
no,
And I don't think I could have, actually. I think I'd have gone ballistic when it
no.
all kicked off.
She's not kicked him out onto the sofa yet, has she? Which is
Mm-hmm.
unusual.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is unusual. Let's see what happens. I'm quite enjoying him work through his backstory, though. It's always nice that things haven't been forgotten, and I hope we get to see more of Amanda and
Mm,
his therapy journey, to quote
yeah.
the J word, because I'm quite enjoying him talk about the past, and it's such a rich history, that character, that we've
Mm,
spent years investing in. It's nice to hear it and to sort of work through it all with him, and be reminded, actually, of where
mm,
he's come.
yeah.
Um, and then finally, sort of last story of the week really was Xander,
Mm,
home from the hospital. Again, there's some frustrations here from me, and I don't know about you, but Rose has hidden. Well, we knew from last week that she'd found out about the funeral arrangements of Jamie,
mm.
my other half's favourite character. He's absolutely gutted that this has happened. Um,
Oh, did he go to the
uh,
funeral? Say his goodbye.
um,
Oh.
But she knew the arrangement and kept it from him. And it
Mm.
turned out the funeral was that day that he came home from hospital. He was asking about it. She
Oh.
was blatantly lying
Mm.
about it to his face. She nips out, and he obviously just is an adult and has a phone and finds out himself quite quickly that the funeral is taking place. He wants to go, she won't take him. They have a row about it, and it didn't sit right with me the way she was talking to him,
No.
saying, you're not going, this is not right for you. And I'm thinking, who are you to tell an adult man where he can and cannot go? Am I just
Mm.
thinking two-dimensional about this? Help me out.
No. I wish I could oppose you and we'd have like conflicting arguments, but I'm thinking exactly the same thing. I was thinking he needs it. He needs closure. He needs to go and say goodbye. He feels
Says it
guilty that he
himself.
exactly. He feels guilty that he's alive and Jamie's dead. How much more guilty would he feel if he didn't get to go to the funeral?
I know.
Why would she
And
want him to feel awful? Why would she want him to regret not going? I don't understand this.
her justification was the whole, he doesn't cope well, the tattoos, you need to recover, you'll never get back to work if you don't recover. And I'm just thinking, what do you benefit or not benefit from him deciding to go or not? I don't,
No.
you're not his mother or his
No.
keeper.
Yeah. Let him make his own mistakes. Yeah, it might not be the right
Mm,
decision, but it's his decision.
mhm.
And then what you do as a sister is you go, okay, so the funeral set you back. So I'm still here to help you get through whatever it is that happens next. You don't go, oh, I think that that's going to mess you up. So I think that you shouldn't go. You don't do that.
No, of course you don't. absolutely. If my brother or one of my brothers tried to say you're not going to that funeral that you want to go to, I'd be like, here's 2 fingers, I've ordered an Uber.
Yeah, absolutely. And you'd be well within your right to say that.
Yeah. I'd be like,
But
and
then
I
what
do
would happen?
like,
So if you went to that funeral and it messed you up, and then you went home, and your brothers wouldn't go, "Huh, I told you so," would they? They'd be like,
no,
"Okay, so you're going through some shit. What can we do to
yeah,
help you?" You know, you support
exactly.
people, even if they
Ex-
make what you think is the wrong decision. You still support them, don't you?
Exactly. Exactly.
You're laughing.
Um, I do like that he called Marley though the ex,
I
which
know.
this is how much of a non-entity Marley and Rose are to me. I've forgotten that they had history until after that scene, and I was thinking about it, and I thought, oh shit, yeah, he's the ex-boyfriend.
Yeah.
I didn't even notice during the scene that there was even any. This is awful, isn't it? But I didn't even notice there was any bad blood there
Didn't you?
from the
Oh, that's
breakup.
funny. It's only been a few days and you've
I
already
know
forgotten.
I'd forgotten all about it. And afterwards I was like, oh duh, they were dating for like a minute, ridden in a caravan.
I was going to say, how can you forget that?
But that's how like uninterested in them two I am.
Yeah.
But I do like that he did that because and Marley stuck to his gun. He's like, well, I'm helping a mate, and
Mm.
that's what I'm doing. And I thought
Yeah.
she was then backed into a corner where she had no choice but
Mm.
to agree to take him. And I thought you shouldn't have to go through this drama
No.
of hauling Marley over there to have to face his ex-girlfriend,
Mm.
just because you won't drive him to the bloody funeral. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What a load of. I think Xander really could come into his own away from Rose. I really do. You know, if Rose
Yeah.
was out of the way, I feel like she's holding him back. I don't know why I feel that, so don't press me on it. But I just feel like you think, what kind of Xander would we have without Rose?
Well, I think you're right, because I think the thing with Rose is she's there every 5 minutes going, "Oh, but Xander, you've done this. Oh, but Xander," and like
Yeah,
constantly throwing his past in his face. I mean, I don't know about you, but it really ticked me off this week when Rose was talking to Brie, and Rose said, "Oh, this is why he's got all those tattoos, because he goes out and he gets a tattoo when he has trauma." Yes, it's true, but oh my God, as Xander's colleague, Brie works with Xander every day. If he hasn't told her that himself already, it's not
he
Rose's
doesn't want her to
place.
know. Yeah,
No,
yeah,
it's. I was so annoyed with her for that. I was
so
like,
out of order.
not your place to tell anybody why he's got tattoos or that he goes through trauma or whatever. She
Hmm.
just see that's why I think you're struggling with her. It's the same reason as I am, that he's gone through stuff, and she constantly goes, "Oh, but what about this when he did this? What about this when he did this?" He can't move on and get on with his life while she's throwing every mistake he's ever made back in his face every 5 minutes. It's so frustrating. I can't stand her. I'm putting it out there. I can't stand her. I can't bear her. I want Xander to change his jobs, move out, and do something for himself.
Well, change his jobs he's doing, isn't he? So
Yeah.
he's snapped basically all this nagging she's doing. He's snapped and said he doesn't want to go back to work. He's
Mm.
done with it. I'm done. So you said this, didn't you, on First Look last week?
Did I?
Yeah. Well, we were discussing it, and you brought it up, about where we're going to go with this now.
Mm.
He's lost his, work partner.
Yeah.
What does the future hold for him? And we were sort of guessing what the future would look like if he wasn't a paramedic. We were guessing, could he be
Oh,
a
we were talking about
lifeguard? Could he be?
lifeguard. Yeah, I
Mm.
remember now. Yes.
So it did happen. So he's snapped and said, "I'm not going back. Like I can't
Mm.
keep doing this." So where do we go with Xander now? We've got that's still a question mark.
What's he going to do next? If he's not a paramedic, what can he do?
Not a lot of call for much else in the Bay, really, is there?
Not at the moment. Lifeguard. I think that's what we stuck on last week, isn't it? We got stuck on lifeguard because he's got the paramedic training and he should be good in a crisis, but I'm not convinced he
Yeah.
is.
like you
Yeah.
said, though, there's risk there that
Mm.
you'd lose somebody again, and it's a delicate. It's like an eggshell thing, isn't it?
I think he should. I
What's
think
going to tip
they've
him over the
missed a
edge?
trick. I think he should be working in the gym with Tane. I think he should be the one that's getting qualified, not Kahu.
Mm.
And he should be working in the gym because I can imagine Xander as a PT because it's
Yeah.
all health and fitness still, isn't it? It's still relevant. He might
Yeah.
even have qualifications that are good enough because he's got a bloody medical qualification. But
You might do. And don't forget, we're potentially getting a surf club refit.
oh yeah.
So what other services are going to be offered? There could be an opening made there, couldn't there? One to watch, I reckon.
Okay, listeners, I'm talking to you now. We want your thoughts. What do you think? What do you think about everything that's been going on in the Bay this week? Well, I've been having a nosy at what you think. I've been looking at your comments. I've been looking at your reactions on social media. And now I'm going to read them all out because this segment is called Your Say on the Bay, not ours. Your Say on the Bay.
You've had enough of our say.
We probably will chip in with more of our say because we're so opinionated at the moment. Sorry. But let's have a look at what you think. So just before we crack on with that, just a reminder, we are on all the socials. We're on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, etc. So search for Coastal News Podcast. Our account name on most of our social medias is at Coastal News Pod. Come and find us, like, subscribe, follow, review, whatever you want to do. We want to hear from you. So we watch the show, for anybody that doesn't know, we watch the show at 5-star 6:30 p.m. pace. And what we normally do is on our Twitter account, we tweet along with the episodes. We use the hashtag home and away. So come and join in the conversation with us when we're tweeting. It's just a nice place to have a little chat about all things home and away with other people that love the show. Yep. If you're not on social media, we also have an email account, don't we, which is coastalnewspod@gmail.com. So if you want to get in touch with us, but you can't tweet or Facebook us, then email us. Tell us your thoughts. Don't be shy because we love talking to you, don't we?
We do indeed, yeah.
We do. Right. I've got 3 topics of things that people have been talking about on social media this week. And first up, it would be remiss of us not to look at first impressions of Kahu. What do the viewers think of him? Because he's a newbie, isn't he? He's been around. I think he's been on our screens for a couple of weeks now, hasn't he? Because he sort of turned up the week before last. But what do people make of Kahu? You've heard a lot about what we think of him. So what do other people think? So let's get cracking. So David on Twitter said, Flick and Tane have only just got married and this guy barges into their home like it's his own. Send him to the caravan park. Toot sweet. So he's got a point, actually, David, hasn't he? Look, this is a newlywed couple that are just back from their honeymoon, and this guy's just rocked up and just, is having a spare room. I'm assuming it's Nico's room that he's sleeping in. But I don't think he's got any money for the caravan park, is he? Because the whole point is he doesn't have a job, and he seems to be a bit of a freeloader.
Yeah, I think he's a bit of a hustler, me. And I think, although he's managed an airfare from New Zealand.
That's true. Yeah, that's not cheap.
Something's
One way.
Something's not right. There's something we don't know yet as the audience. We don't know the full extent. I feel that there's more to come. I think he's here for something else. I don't think he's here to hang out and work in a gym folding towels.
Probably he's probably running away from something, isn't he? Most people are if they come to the Bay. Well, digging through the comments, I tried to find some nice comments for balance. So some of the nice comments are on the more shallow side.
You don't say. Yeah.
So I know I had to find something nice to say about him, didn't I, really? So obviously we've got Mark says he reminds me of Jesse McGregor, which makes me a bit sad, actually. Do you remember Jesse McGregor, played by Ben Unwin? Oh God, really sad. Tragically
passed
away in 2019 now. Gosh, that feels like 5 minutes ago, but it was a few years ago now. But That was so
Of
sad.
course, he had the long hair, didn't he, at the beginning?
He did, and he had the
Mm.
gorgeous, gorgeous teeth as well. He was so good looking, and I can kind of see what Mark's saying about him looking like Jesse. Actually,
Yeah,
they do look
I can now you've said it. Yeah.
quite similar visually. So that was Mark, and then Sue chipped in and just put so good looking. So good looking. Yeah, I can agree with that. He might be,
Sue,
you know,
you've got eyes and a pulse, love.
he might be a little bit dodgy, but oh, he's good looking. Can't deny that.
All the dodgy ones are.
I know all the bad boys are good looking, aren't they? Let's face it.
It's like diets, isn't it? You know, food. all the bad food's good.
Oh, isn't it? Yeah, all the pizza and chocolate cake. Yeah.
So the bad
You don't-
boys are all.
You don't look at broccoli and go, oh yeah, do you?
Give me some of that.
You don't. I wish you did. But you don't.
If broccoli tastes like a Cadbury's Dairy Milk,
Oh,
honestly,
oh,
we'd
you're
all
the
look like
you're
Kahu.
the thinnest girl in the world.
Mm.
Yeah,
Can't
Yeah.
not really mention Kahu's appearance.
you can't really.
Can't-
It is a bit shallow, but you know, kudos to that guy. He looks good.
Know your
Um,
audience, Homers.
Yeah, exactly. There is one person that's not sure about Kahu's appearance, and that is Felicity, not the Felicity.
Oh,
But Felicity
Another
on Flick on Facebook says that hair, that's got my comb fingers twitching. So she wants to give his hair a brush by the sounds of things. I'm not sure what else she wants to do to him, but definitely wants to comb his hair. So yeah,
I bet it does feel nice though.
I think it's cute. I think he's got cute hair. But there we go. So you know, there's some people obviously saying he's very good looking and whatever, but what do we think about his character? So pretty much unanimous on what people think about his character. Everybody thinks there's something very fishy about Kahu. Lynn is suspicious. Lynn says, I wonder what the matter is with this one. Lynn's been here before.
I'm gonna say Lynn. Lynn, not Lynn's first rodeo, is it?
No,
She's been watching since day one by any chance, Lynn.
I'd imagine so. Yeah, she's a long time Homers fan, I think. Oh yeah, suspicious. Craig says Kahu is absolutely beautiful. Felicity's jealousy is absolutely pathetic.
Yep. We've
Yeah.
said all there is to say on that, really, haven't we?
Yeah. And then the T word, trouble, has come up several times in the old reactions on social media. So Sally says, trust me, he's trouble with a capital T. I
Sally-
can't deny that. Yeah. You agreeing? I think I
Yeah,
am
does
agreeing with Sally.
Does she know something we don't know? Is she watching ahead?
Oh, she might be. Yeah, or she might just have that old gut feeling that you get from watching Homers for 35 years.
Yeah,
I
all
don't
that.
know. All that, yeah.
Yeah.
Angie's not a fan. Angie says there's just something about him that I do not like. Not sure.
It's
And
right though, because there's too many questions
Yeah.
left unanswered. And really, we've seen him for 2 episodes. It sounds like a lot when you say 2 weeks. But it was like Friday, Monday. Where's he been since?
That's true.
We've
Yeah.
been left, haven't we, really? So
Yeah, lots of people saying he's trouble. There was one comment that, I'll be honest, Pauline, I had to read your comment several times, and I still don't know if I understand it. So I'm going to read it to Sai because I want Sai to react to this to see if I.
bloody hell! Right.
Are you ready? Right. I'll see if I can read it properly. So Pauline says, "There's trouble if ever I saw it." Okay, that's fine. The next bit got me. The Brotherhood of Men and an obsessive woman. ... 2 tigers by the tail? Question mark. What could happen? Question mark. Movement to the caravan? Exclamation mark. Not really sure what's going on there, Pauline, but Brotherhood of Men and an obsessive
Is she
woman.
talking about a menage a trois?
I don't know. The 2 tigers by the tail. Is that Eeny, Meeny, Miny, Mo? Catch a tigger by his toe. Is that?
What
that-
the hell is going on? What are you talking about?
I don't know. Ask Pauline because I honestly don't understand a word of this comment. But I wish I did. I think she's trying to say that Flick
I'm
might
sorry.
not know who to choose or something. I don't. Pauline, what did you drink before you wrote that on Facebook? Because I need it.
Eeny, meeny, miny, moe. What the hell? I recognise the language. I don't understand
you?
a thing.
Oh, I don't. Brotherhood of Men and obsessive woman, 2 tigers by the tail. It's so cryptic. It's almost a first look synopsis. I'm glad you don't understand it, because I was like, I read it like 4 times. I was like, I still don't know what she's saying.
Is she saying about? Is it a metaphor for your sort of control thing?
I've got no idea.
You know, when you were talking, you know, when you were saying that, I'm trying my hardest here to decipher it. You know, when you were saying that Felicity likes the control,
Mm.
2 tigers by the tail, no?
I don't know. I get the feeling that she's saying eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Choose one, flick. I don't know. I don't
Oh
know.
yeah, because that's my original theory, isn't it? Something's gone
Mm.
on. Something's between them two.
It feels very
On the
Mystic
honeymoon.
Meg. Listen, like the Brotherhood of Men, an obsessive woman, 2 tigers by the tail.
Hey,
It feels-
I'd watch it.
Would you?
Yeah,
Right,
that sounds. Is she
write it down.
advertising a book? I'd
Write it
read
down.
it.
Write it in the
Yeah.
book. Pauline, right, we're gonna make a spin-off. Whatever you're talking about, Pauline, is a
Make a
spin-off
note
now.
of Pauline. We'll come back to you in the future,
Yeah.
Pauline. Blimey.
Pauline has some comments. Seriously, I think I've got her later on as well, I think. Anyway, moving on. Helen had a nice comment to make, actually. Not about this week, but last week when Kahu first turned up in the bay and we saw Kahu and Tane having a bit of a sing-along. Do you remember that episode? I think it was
Oh,
the
yeah.
first time we saw him. And Helen commented that she recognised that song. She used to sing it when she was a Girl Guide leader years and years ago. And she used to sing it with her Girl Guides, and they used to sing it in rounds. And she said she'd forgotten all about the song, but as soon as she heard it on Home and Away, she was singing along, knew all the words.
Oh wow, amazing.
So that's pretty cool, because I just assumed it was something that, you know, wouldn't have made it over here. You know, a kind of campfire ditty from New Zealand or something. I don't know. I didn't know the origins of the song, but Helen remembered it, so that's pretty cool. And now Angela has got predictions. You ready?
Right.
Angela said, "You just know something's going to happen at the gym with him, and those papers from Alf are all going to be part of it." I think Angela's predicting, because Kahu's not qualified, there's going to be some kind of accident or...
Oh yeah. Some where there's blame, there's a claim.
Yeah, I think so. And Lee's got a prediction, so I'm not sure whether Lee's watching ahead, because this came out of left field and I didn't really know where we're going with this. But Lee says, "Please don't sleep with Kahu, Mac." Now, have we had any scenes with Kahu and Mac yet? I don't think we have we?
No. No, has he been? He's been in the bar, has he?
He has. But has he met Mac? I don't remember them meeting each other. Maybe I've missed it.
This is what happens, you see, when you have a sort of revolving door of younguns who just sort of bed hop. Everyone sort of couples up. Everyone with the nearest single person, don't they? And then sort of expect it to happen. I don't. I'm lukewarm at that. I have lukewarm reaction there, I think.
I hadn't predicted it, so I don't know whether Lee's looked into the crystal ball and seen something.
Yeah,
but
didn't see that coming. But,
no.
Well, she's going to be working on top of him.
Yeah.
As in, upstairs.
Yeah.
So they're going to be in the same building, aren't they? So it's true. Only a matter of time before there are scenes, I suppose.
And then to sum up the end of the Kahu section, we've got Alan. Alan is not mincing his words. Alan says, "Does the show really need another Bogan?" Wow.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
we like the feral. The more feral, the better.
You asked Alan.
What do we think of that? Do we think Kahu's a Bogan? There's a lot of people saying he's a freeloader. He's trouble. He's hiding something. What's he running away from? What's his secret? I don't know whether I would have called him a Bogan as well, but
no, it's too early to tell, isn't it? It's too early. All I know is we don't know enough. I'll say.
Yeah. Interesting. Right. What about chemistry then? You ready to have a science lesson?
Oh, good God.
Were you good at science at school?
I was okay. I was biology. No, my science was separate. Were yours all separate?
Yeah, chemistry, biology, physics.
I was okay at chemistry and physics. Biology, no. which
We're doing
yeah,
chemistry.
explains a lot. Okay,
We're
yeah,
doing.
go.
I'm not
Give it a
even going
go.
to go there, microbiology. I'm not commenting. I'm ignoring it. Too many obvious jokes. I want you to talk to me next week. Chemistry. So you're no good at chemistry?
No.
No. Okay. Well, we're going to talk about bad chemistry, and the bad chemistry is Marilyn and her stunningly burning face cream. So what do people think about this? So
Tell me, come on.
look, I haven't got many comments actually. I expected loads of
Oh.
comments on this, and I'd only got
They
a
weren't
few.
raging like we were.
No, nobody's really
We've just
got.
had to kick. We've just kicked off.
I know we've had to have a break because we couldn't handle it anymore. Lynn commented. She said, "I can't stand Rue. Did she even do a patch test?" It's a good question actually, because
Who does the patch test?
Oh, technically, Marilyn should have patch test Rue because she was
Yeah,
putting products on her that she never tried before. But Rue let her do it to her whole face. You know, there's some blame there, I think, on Rue's side as well.
She's a woman. She's grown. If she does, if she wanted a patch test, she should have said, "I'm going to do a patch test first." I mean, you know, would you do a patch test for a face mask? I don't think I would.
I wouldn't if I bought it myself in the shop, no. And if I bought it from someone like Marilyn, I would probably assume that she knew what was in it, and I don't know.
Yeah, but to go back to your boots analogy earlier, you just said there, "Oh, if I bought it in a shop, I wouldn't bother." What's the difference in buying it in a shop and buying it from an independent seller?
I wouldn't kick off, I'll be honest, because like I say, I've got sensitive skin. I have forever. So if my skin suddenly goes red, I'm just like, okay, I'm not using that again, you know, and I get on with my life. So
yeah, exactly.
I don't really get the overreaction, but
that's what Rue should have done. Yeah,
I do patch test hair dye and stuff like that because that's but face mask I probably wouldn't bother. A couple of people have mentioned something which I didn't pick up on. And I don't know whether you have either. So Stuart says, is it even hygienic doing this in a food place?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. David said the same thing. So David on Facebook said someone could say it's unhygienic to test these products in the diner. I hadn't even crossed my mind that it's a bit gross doing it around people eating food.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Felicity's back. Felicity, not the Felicity. She says, I saw these were dodgy products a mile off. Saw it a mile off that these were going to be dodgy. And Felicity's made a prediction. She says the heavies are going to be here next. They're going to be pursuing Marilyn for her debts.
Well, did you see the trailer for next week?
I did.
She's trying to get out and she's stuck in it, and
she's got a contract. Yeah.
Fancy that. She's not read the small print as she has.
So I think Felicity might be right there. She might get people around knocking on the door asking for her money, you know, her earnings or whatever.
Do you mean Felicity or Felicity, not the Felicity?
Felicity, not the Felicity, yes. Sorry, on Facebook. And Pauline's back.
Oh, Pauline.
From Ellie with the Tigers and the Tails. Pauline has her 2 P's worth on the Marilyn as well. So she says, Irene, Alf and Rue are her bestest friends, and yet Marilyn acts like she only just met them all these years, and she still calls him Mr. Whatever and acts like the below stairs maid.
Wow.
So this is sort of similar to what you were saying earlier in the pod, where you were saying you think that a lot of the time people look down on Marilyn.
Yeah.
They don't treat her as an equal. They look at her as this silly woman that just does silly things, and they overreact and they blame her when she does stuff wrong. And actually, she's very forgiving when it comes to stuff that they do, and they're not as forgiving when it comes to her making a mistake and what have you. So I think Pauline is sort of summing up some of that feeling in what she's saying
I hadn't made the link to young Marilyn maid, because that's what she was. Wasn't she back in the day?
Yeah.
I hadn't made the link to that. Do we think there's an undercurrent of that from way back then? I thought I was under the understanding that Marilyn really was part of the family. Alf even says it this week, you know.
They do say it, but do they treat her like one?
Well, that's it. Proof's in the pudding, isn't it? And I don't think they do. And Marilyn and Rue were squabbling like siblings this week, and you know, Mr. Stewart has to break them up, doesn't he? Stop it, you buffoons, and all this stuff. You know, stop shouting at each other, and they're calling each other names, like we said. You know, I mean, when Marilyn called Rue privileged, you know, it's just it was like they were stepsisters or what have you, in the teens arguing. So in that respect, yeah, but I think they talk a good talk, the Stewarts.
Yeah.
But I do think the very, very judgmental Rue in particular is off the scale with that stuff. And yeah, I'd not made I'd not joined the dots there, but I think Pauline could be onto something there.
Yeah.
That they've always looked at Marilyn a little bit different to everybody else.
It's a bit sad, isn't it, really?
It is.
They kind of treat her as a charity case as well, don't they? Like, oh, she hasn't got her own house and she hasn't got her own life and she just, you know, she's a boarder. At the same time, they're saying she's family, but they don't really treat her like family.
No, they're treating her like she's simple, and she's not.
Yeah.
She's not simple. She's a complex character. Very complex. One of the greats. You know, we've said it before, but yeah, I think this could be a turning point for her, where I think she probably needs to realize some of this stuff we're saying and decide if her future is with the Stewarts or not.
Yeah, I think you might be right. One to watch for sure. Well, that's the bad chemistry. What about the good chemistry? So, you know, we mentioned about Mac and Marley earlier. I had a good old chinwag about them and the moving in and the friendship and all that stuff. And I said to you, oh, but you know, he's single, she's single. You know, what do we think? And we chatted about that earlier. But what do other people think? So, Sylvia's not that keen on Marley because this comment made me laugh just because of the language that she used. She put, "I love Mac, and he's not bad." That just made me laugh.
He's all right.
He's all right. Debbie's very keen. Debbie said, "I can see these two getting together. They make a lovely couple, and they get on so well."
Oh no, Debbie, I don't want it.
Debbie's buying a hat, I think. Isn't she? Yeah, Debbie's buying a hat. Nikki also says, "Please put Marley and Mac together." Linda says they're bound to get it on. Kate says this is an affair waiting to happen. Now, I'm not sure about the word affair there because that makes it sound a bit seedy and a bit something that's not allowed, like he's cheating on somebody. But he's a single man, she's a single lady, so
yeah.
It's a romantic affair, I guess. Yeah.
You know, when you are so sort of obviously thinking one way, it doesn't dawn on you that other people could be thinking the other. This is one of those moments for me. Like,
really?
I'm a bit like, because me and you, and you know, I really like the friendship. Friendships are so strong right now. These two have a really good chemistry, friend chemistry. I worry they're going to end up in some sort of situationship, though. You know, a couple of beers and a fumble, and then it's all awkward. Especially if one of them's going through something, which before long will be.
Yes, that's true. We've got Gabe on the horizon, haven't we? Still, we haven't forgotten about him. There's quite a few people that want to see it happen. You know, happy to see that coupling up.
Okay, and if it did, then there's some people that are going to enjoy it. I'm not sure.
Absolutely.
Not sure. It sounds like we will at this stage.
No, I'm not massively calling for it. I think if it happens, it happens. But at the moment, I'm just enjoying Max looking a bit happier than she has recently, and I think she just needs a bit of stability for a change, and not, you know, sad scenes and crying every 5 minutes. It's a bit heartbreaking. Yeah. There is somebody that's remember Alan from earlier who called Kahu a bogan. Remember him? He had a comment on Mac and Marley, which I will read. And he said he's predicted, forgive me for the language, panties off in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1, boom. I hate the word panties. It makes me cringe. Oh, it's worse than any swear word I've ever heard in my life. Yeah.
Really?
I hate that. When Americans say panties. Oh, literally, it makes me turn inside out. I hate it. It's worse than moist and all those other words that everyone normally hates. Panties. Oh, I'm vomiting. Literally vomiting. But Alan seems really sure that they're going to end up in the bedroom. So, well, what have we missed? Have we missed something?
There's something we're clearly not seeing, so I'm going to have to look out for it next week. There's something that we're missing here, isn't there?
I think so.
Thank you for listening. We will be back with more episode discussion from Summer Bay soon. Until then, join the discussion online at Coastal News Pod.